Freestyle Combs. I'm the spot of the close. I got all on live and I got the beat up the flow. DJ me not, and that's nothing for yours. You got shout outs to y'all, and you can pass me on to the next one though. I ain't stopping for what? Asking for why. You be out here, you in the clubhouse guy. Pass me off to the other one while I stay fly. I be spitting the flow, but you don't even know why. Fresh and all day, and I don't even say, huh? You like what? And I'm like, yeah, right, guy. Pun. No pun intended. Pulling in. Pulling up hot. This guy's confused. There's no need to be confused with it. You're gonna be losed. Cause you at lost cause you ain't one of them. You ain't on the phone cause I am. Blood. And that's not a shout out to gang members because I'm not affiliated. No, it's not a shout out to gang members. We're not affiliated. But at the same time, if you ever have a stereotype, that's what Dalmatians are. The company, business, clubhouse, whatever you want, just on my left has Dalmatians, a stuffed animal, but then they also have like a painting of them, and it is nothing of a stereotype to say that it isn't, because it is. All these Dalmatians up with what a classical fire department would have, they would have a Dalmatian rides along with them because they're trained to do so. I don't know why. How did that start? That's the origins of something of interest. It's just how cops have acquired German Shepherds, probably because they're the scariest dog of all the canines that have been domesticated. So they prop them up as one of their kinship. Why? Because police officers want to look dominant, and what better to use a German Shepherd with them? But why Dalmatians? I don't know, and so that guy really doesn't want to have a further question. He's lost in the sauce. Let him figure that out. Let him figure. So to eliminate what doublespeak is and to touch upon how binary codes, it's a step closer to knowing what AI has in store. Some people will write off the whole universe as being a simulation. Okay, go ahead, whatever. We're never going to prove the uncertainty principle, so you might as well say a cloud is the centerfold of your life. Then I wouldn't put it past you. But when torque has a thing to say, a torque is a derivative of the third derivative. The first is tension, the second is pressure. Put those two things together and you get an acquired one. Torque. And don't quote me on this, but I think quote the torque's the third. When we're talking about what a triple negative is, it's going back to what a positive is, because in binary and in math, closely related, notably so, how to link economy off from it is that it's a positive, but it denotes from a zero, a baseline zero from the double negative. It touches upon it and it doesn't at the same time. To me, this is AI-esque. And if you don't know what AI-esque is, we're just running with it because this is freedom of speech. We're exercising it. Our First Amendment right. Take with that what you would like and leave it how it is, but it's these things that are simple switches which makes up circuits. And the more that you can denounce what a circuit is and just make a new one on your own, you're that much closer to being able to shun the technocrats for what they are. Right now they're running gamut, and it's a giant joke because if you don't know anything about circuits, it's as you're in the gallows. We used to have Circuit City where music came out and you would buy stuff on CDs. Now we don't, and it's highly politicized. Look at Taylor Swift on magazine covers, her Eras tour. Is this the cream of the crop, or is it the bottom of the dung? Tune in later and we're gonna find out with the rest of this vlog out. So there's two notes to depict. One is that I don't do TikTok, but it might look like it. The person at the private club, she works behind the desk, but she said she saw me and she thought I'm doing TikTok. And side note, I deleted my TikTok because I knew it was trying to run, and a lot of kids tune into it, so I'm not into things that kids tune into. The second note to depict is that Still Worldwide 2, SWW2, he put out two videos. One was Stay Tuned. This is in a title, and the second was Malt Liquor exclamation point, and this was the title that he put out. And so, if watching these two videos, they really touch upon what's important when it comes to autos, because he said that like in an inner city like New York City, that there was rolling hills, and so that he had two cars. One couldn't make it because it was like wobbling side to side, and then his sports car Corvette versus a Camaro, both Chevrolet notably, would have been in the shop, and the other wasn't. Fun fact: I threw away something in the garbage can, and I reached my hand in it, and I pulled it out, and it caught my hand as I'm pulling it out. And so it was like a bear trap with a bear's foot or arm, because they walk on fours. That's what a bear crawl is. But notably, so it caught my hand. So in order to push the lid forward, it's like metallic. It had to you had to push the lid in. So pulling it out, it lifted the entire lid up. So in order to fit a pizza box into this garbage can, I had to. It wouldn't fit into the mouth. I had to release the entire capsule, and when I did, it smelled like dung. When something smells like dung, there's another word that's more preferable for it: fecal. A fecal sample is something that veterinaries ask if you getting your pet test for worms, and so you have to collect their dung. As gross as this sounds, why I'm mentioning this to you is that the difference between space trash and yourself is a literal thing. And the more that you can denote what consumerism is, what your intake is, was consumerism. Seeing that grocery stores to me are retail nowadays because of all the BS that is inside of regular things that shouldn't have BS in it, like fruits and vegetables. It's that it's like showcased as a joke. So, in knowing what fecal samples are, you can denote the difference of what is artificial from not. And I know it's a huge craze because sometimes filler is great. And in the entertainment business, it's the anticipation and then hyping it. And so if you don't know anything about that, it's equal to what rolling hills are with vehicles. Some can handle it, and the fancy ones can't. When it comes to what in real time is acceleration comes into mind, because it isn't just the weight. That's what the initial state is. When it's something of an initial weight that's in motion, torque comes into play. And this is why PSI, if you had a range meter, like a cop's speed gun that tracks how fast you're going, if you could read the PSI on any mobility, aka maneuver, then you'd be able to see how hard something is actually going. Pounds per square inch is PSI, and in tracking this, it's an encapsulation of what attributes your muscle memory and coordination can have interplay, because torque in real time are two peas in a pod, especially if you can read its gauge. Side note, I saw kids playing soccer, and so one kid was so excited because they blocked the third goal, so they ran out off the field because that's all they wanted to do. That's only because the correlation of the field was not as acute to what major leagues are. In major leagues, they spray paint the fields and they have LED with the scoreboard and time the stats on like a jumbotron, so you can look up
and see it. This is what NBA players do. When they look up on camera, they're looking at the Jumbotron. These kids didn't have spray paint or LED statistics of a Jumbotron, and they're just trying their best. So I don't blame the goalie for running out of the goal post after blocking a third shot to celebrate with their folks, because that's all that they came to accomplish, and they did it. The second attribute was this person, and they were slide tackling. Slide tackling is really hard. It's when if you get the torque just right, its timing is everything. And if you've never connected in a slide tackle or a bicycle kick in a soccer game because you have on shin pads, then you don't know what coordination is. But at least you've tried. So this kid tried 2 slide tackles. He missed both, but nevertheless the case was the only person on the field trying for it. And so that's huge, aside from not having any line paint, because if he would have had paint that was lined as a regular soccer field, it would be easier to scale and coordinate a slide tackle properly. With your peripheral vision, it wasn't there, so not blaming that on them. Not blaming that on them. Maneuverability is huge, and sometimes it's in real time. What is more important because it has an acquired sense of motion. There was one person who had said that their muscle memory was shot. This is when it was loosely spoken that a aerial feature, when you say aerial, it means verticality, that they had a vertigo towards a mobility. So if you're speaking on this and it's on a raised platform, meaning larger than ground level, this is now inept with what verticality is. So a person saying that they're inept from a maneuver due to a muscle memory. When we're talking about muscle memory, it's fine tuned. And if you believe in yourself, then your cells inertly will have an instinct to do what's natural. And if it's on an elevated stage, it's you can deny the fact that from a sense of vertigo is a syndrome of a verticality deficiency. So if there's a person saying that because it's something larger than life, they're unable to do it, you have to believe in yourself and at least try one time.